We've got time for one more conspiracy theory.
It's probably the easiest one of the lot, because all it involves doing is looking up. What you see is these, what look like aeroplanes with their vapor trails, which we are told are these things called contrails. They sort of disperse. It starts off as a sort of a thick white line, and then it disperses and it spreads out and becomes a sort of cloudy haze. And the difference between normal aircraft flight patterns, instead of just going in one line, what you often see is a crisscross pattern, like someone's drawing a sort of noughts and crosses board. This is not natural. This never used to happen. It certainly didn't happen when I was growing up. And this is what people call chemtrails, and what the people responsible, call geoengineering.
What is geoengineering?
It's called weather modification.
Cloud seeding is a form of weather modification that can produce what we want more or less of. More rain or snow, or even smaller hail pellets.
They're perfectly upfront about this.
Geoengineering is discussed and explored in several parts of the world.
There's been lots of work in the field of weather control.
People get very defensive about this. They say, well, I spoke to a pilot and he tells me, no, it's not chemtrails, it's contrails.
No, chemtrails are not real. The streaks you see in the sky are called condensation trails, or contrails.
So what they've successfully done, the people who are doing this stuff, is they've persuaded ordinary people to do their work for them by angrily denying that these things are chemtrails. You know, everyone is suddenly an expert.
Yes.
Everyone is saying, no, these are contrails, I know what they are.
Yeah.
It forces them to address something that they don't want to address, which is that there might be this ruthless, powerful class out there that actually believes that it has the right to spray us with toxic chemicals.
It's this sense that the great holographic illusions of reality must be encountered if you want to know what's going on. And there's different levels of that. Higher and higher levels of mind-bending improbabilities.
He calls it the staircase of disbelief. The staircase of disbelief starts with something like that governments lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. People can sort of more or less deal with that. They sort of think, yeah, well, maybe we did need to defeat Saddam Hussein because he was evil, and therefore maybe the governments did lie to us a bit. And then you sort of get to the sort of higher rung on the ladder, where the Kennedy assassination. You are reluctantly forced to acknowledge that maybe it wasn't just a crazy lone gunman that killed Kennedy, that maybe the CIA was involved and maybe other government agencies. That's really starting to get awkward now, because you're forced to question everything you've been taught. Governments do not assassinate presidents, that organizations like the CIA and the police are there to protect you, not to assassinate you. So then you get on higher up the ladder to something like 9/11, where you have to acknowledge that it wasn't planned by a guy in a cave in Afghanistan, as we were told, but that probably it was an inside job. Most ordinary people would rather not go there, because they have been trained by the culture that we inhabit to think of the kind of people who espouse these views as weird and dangerous and wrong. Who would want to be a conspiracy theorist when it involves possibly losing your job, socially ostracized, losing members of your family? People see that, they see these examples, and they think, no, I don't want to go there. So people don't want to take even the first step onto the staircase of disbelief. They've been given these signals that if you go there, you will suffer, therefore they would rather not go there. This is how the psychological operation works. If you can manipulate the public into, instead of going, hang on, this is outrageous, but going, no, you cannot say that they're chemtrails, that's wrong, you're a nutcase, then you've won, haven't you? Because you can get away with it. And until we start questioning things and doing our own research, we're always going to be prisoners of their propaganda.